Saturday, September 6th. Spiders. It was stupid of me to expect that Aunt Edith would be waiting for me yesterday afternoon. But on the way home from school, I suddenly believed that Aunt Edith would be there, and we'd go on a tutorial where I'd learn something amazing, something so special and important that I'd be the envy of everyone. I know my face showed how disappointed I was when we pulled up and there was no Mercedes waiting in our driveway. It's my fault anyway, for even hoping. I'm pretty sure Aunt Edith is traveling now. She would travel to a different country every second if she could. She says there's no way to learn about the human condition without seeing it from a front row seat. I've been reading Self-Reliance every night, though, and Mr. Emerson doesn't agree with her. The wise man stays at home, he says, sounding more like Grandmom than Aunt Edith. But the real truth is, I have no idea where Aunt Edith is or what she's doing or thinking. She could be anywhere, doing anything. And I don't know her as well as I thought. Yet she was right. Things are changing around here. This morning, I walked outside and saw that thick mass of green mist under the cherry tree had begun to leak out from under the branches. I ran over to the tree and gasped. Now a part of the mist floated a few feet past the branches, hovering over the water. Cautiously, I leaned over to touch it. Again, it had that wet, cottony feel. But this time, it wasn't quite as tight, as if the net had loosened just a bit, allowing the strands to pull apart and cover this new section of the lake. When Grandmom died, I never thought to touch the mist itself. I wonder if it was the same thing. Maybe this is how it starts, under the tree to gather strength, and then pushing itself over the water. Perhaps it will continue to stretch out just like the last time, wrapping itself around our lake, waiting for our next savior to come and fix us, just like Aunt Edith did 4 years ago. And then I think, if that's true, I wish he or she would hurry up, because that's a general feeling that we're all walking along the edge of the world, ready to fall off if it doesn't rain on Monday. The truth is, we have no plan B. It's always rained. That's all we know. Gently, I pour some water on Harry's spot. I come here every morning before school, making the sign of the cross, hoping to see some sign of progress. But so far, nothing's happened. Today, Saturday, I stare at his one white strand of root so hard it hurts. It hasn't changed at all, but there's a part of me that's clinging to that skinny little string. As long as it exists, I have a chance. Is there anything else I can do? I ask the spindly root as nicely as I can. Then I turn to the other sagging, unhappy plants. I'll do whatever you say. But it's like all the plants are asleep, or they're ignoring me, their friend Shredder. I don't blame them. Coming here every day, knowing how all the plants must be mad at me, is part of my punishment. I want them to know I'm genuinely sorry, and that I'm not going to give up. Suddenly I feel something faintly scrape my ankle. I look down, full of hope, expecting to see a leaf rustling or a stalk reaching out to me. It's neither. It's a spider. A big, black, long-legged spider with 2 heads and 3 stripes on its body. Ew, I recoil. Seek, I hear in response. It's so faint that I think it may be a mouse lost in the fields. Seek, I hear again, louder. I look to the plants, feeling suddenly panicked. Now the bugs are really talking. Am I hearing correctly? The spider scrambles up the leaf of the plant directly in front of me. Seek, seek, the spider speaks from his left head. I didn't know spiders had mouths. Seek, the spider says quickly, scuttles to another plant, dropping from one leaf to another as if on stairwells. Then he speaks with his right head. Seek. Seek, I ask? The spider shakes his right head no. Seek. Sick? Both heads move up and down. Then the spider moves crawling from the leaf in front of me down the stalk and onto the ground. Who's sick? I hear my voice catch in terror. I watch as the spider scampers away. Wait! I hurry after him. The spider pauses, turning his right head so that it's facing me. Seek! Then without a second glance, the spider darts into the field. I follow him into it. Then I stop. I stop because in front of me are hundreds of black 2-headed spiders. A virtual army of them. Thousands and thousands of skinny black legs and striped bodies. All standing still in the middle of this chocolate rhubarb farm. All of them looking straight at me. Seek! Seek! I gawk at the bugs, mouth open, eyes wide. In one sweeping moment, the spiders fall silent. And then they're gone. Every single one of them. Gone. Monday, September 8th. For real. Yesterday I read one Mark Twain story for English and did 2 chapters of math homework, but I wouldn't be able to say one word of any of them today. All I'm thinking about, all of any of us are thinking about, is whether it's going to rain at 1 o'clock. I'm meeting Freddie, Patricia, and Basford in the common room as soon as his class is over. Meanwhile, Owen is attempting to teach us about the atmosphere. This is the troposphere, the layer of the atmosphere that is closest to Earth. All together now. Say troposphere. I check my watch. It's 12:48 p.m. Owen says something about argon. 12:49 p.m. He uses the term electromagnetic radiation. 12:50 p.m. Class is over. I jump out of my seat and am the first person at the door. As I try to spring through it, Owen taps me on the shoulder. You know that you and your family are stronger than a few raindrops, right? Sure, I lie as I look for Basford. He's scrambling around the desks. Come on! Patricia's in the room, sitting on the couch near Sam. Freddie's by the window, his cell to his ear. I check my watch. It's 12:59 p.m. Talking to Beatrice, Patricia whispers. I try to sit, but I can't. Not now. Finally, I run over to Freddie, pulling on his shoulder. Tell us! Slowly, Freddie turns around. He isn't smiling. Okay, then, he says. Thanks. He snaps the phone shut, holding it in midair. It's 1:01 p.m. Nothing. The words sound like gravel crunching. Not a cloud in the sky. I move away from Freddie and fall into a chair. Sam and Patricia sit up against the cushion, and Basford looks at me, then back to Freddie. I follow his gaze. It's like Freddie's whole face has lost in color. Wow, mutters Freddie. He's drawling. Almost. Maybe it really is over. If there's no rain, there's no rhubarb. I cover my eyes. Basford whispers. What is it? Company, he says, and he points to the entryway. There, in the hallway, are about 50 of our friends, and non-friends, and perfect strangers. In front of the crowd stands Jongy. She holds her pink cell phone reading off of it. Says here it's the 3rd time in 86 years, she announces. We catch eyes, and she smirks at me. Get out. Sam looms over Jongy, all 220 pounds of him. Now. Power is relative. Jongy's a big deal for 7th grade, but she's nothing next to the captain of the high school football team. She spins around, but not before she sneers at me one last time. It's only then that Patricia and I turn back to Freddie, who has slumped onto the couch. Are you okay? I ask him. I feel like the wind's knocked out of me. He tries to smile, but he's out of breath. I suddenly have a terrible, terrifying thought. Could the spiders have been talking about Freddie? Is he the one who's sick? No. At that second, Mr. Hobart, our headmaster, runs into the room. Freddie tries to stand up. I'm okay, he says, and then his knees buckle. Maybe if I could just lie down a while. Mr. Horvat acts quickly. You all have 2 minutes to get to your next class or to study hall. Any of you who are still here, except for the Peabody siblings, and you, he points to Basford, will be suspended. He looks at his watch. Go. Our classmates push and shove each other as they scramble to turn around. Sam kisses Patricia on the cheek. I'll see you all later, he says softly. Mr. Horvat looks back at us. Freddie, why don't you go and see Nurse Scaly? Freddie nods and slowly gets to his feet. He has his arms folded across his chest, and he looks at the floor as he takes his steps. It can't be. Can it? Maybe when Freddie's all checked out, you should go home. Mr. Horvat says it as an order, not a suggestion. Yes, Patricia agrees for all of us. Okay. Simple facts are making my mind spin. The spiders told me that someone was sick. Today, Freddie basically collapses after the news. And on the day he was born, there was no rain. Just like today. Just like last week. What does it mean now for Freddie? If the rain has stopped? The worst possible thought flashes through my mind. Worse than anything conjured up by Jennifer Jongs or slugs or even the silo. I wish I could stuff it back where it came from, but it's gushing over and over in my head, repeating the same sickening thought over and over again. If it stops raining for good, does that mean that Freddie's going to die?